I hope everyone had a really good break. We're on the end stretch now. I think this makes we've got about 8 weeks of school left. Means we're halfway through the semester. Midterm grades are posted. I want to remind everybody that that's just for academic purposes. It doesn't. Your midterm grades don't show up on any records or anything. It's just for advising purposes and for you to gauge the amount of effort you have to put in to achieve whatever goal you might have. So take a look at your midterm grades. If you got any questions, let me know. A few of you I had to calculate with zeros just because you haven't got in your programs yet. I will still accept these. I mean, there's going to be some penalty points, but anything beats a zero. So if you haven't turned in a program, please see me about it on Monday night. All right, we've got two things new in play here. One is you can create arrays of objects. All right, before we went on break, we were dealing with objects. You can make arrays of them, and that's what we're going to do in this project. And we've also got something called static member variables and static member functions. As you remember, and you've dealt with, that everything inside a class stays inside a class. You know, it's its own little world. But you can have static member variables and static member functions that will have commonality over all the classes. That's like if you want to add something in every class, right? That's sort of what we're going to do here in this program. And this one's straight out of the book, right? Anything that's a static member variable or a static member function can access any of your classes. So, like I think in the one I did with cars, um, Chevrolet, Toyota, Ford, um, you can actually count the sales for each one of those classes. If you made an automobile class Ford, automobile class Chevrolet, automobile class Toyota, and there's certain sales in there, you can write a static member function and have a static member variable for sales over all those three car lines. All right. So let's take a look. Maybe I think the best way to start through this is go through, um, start with our header file, go with our class member functions, and then take a look at source.cpp. All right, here private, we got two. We're only going to be dealing with two variables. All right, the corporate budget and the division budget. What we're going to do is we're going to have a corporate office, and all corporate offices have a budget, and 4 divisions. So we're going to have 5 different budgets within the corporate budget, 4 divisions, and 1 corporate headquarter um, type budget. All right, that's the only 2 variables we're going to be dealing with. The one that's going to be the static member variable is corp budget, because that's going to be you're going to add the budgets to all 4 of the division budgets to the corporate headquarters, and you're going to have one corporate budget and individual division budgets. So that's our static double corp there. And just like everything else you've dealt with, we just got a variable that's private division budget. What stays inside the division is like just a regular class that you've dealt with. All right, let's look down through this. And I did a lot of inline because I tried to keep these a little bit separate. This was in the book, but I kind of modified it a little bit. All right, public, we've got a constructor, and it's only got one thing inside of it, and that's the division budget. All right, we've got an add budget function that just basically, when you use it, it'll add the number that you send it, the argument that you give it. It'll add that to the division budget and add it to the rolling corporate budget. So if I added $2,000 for Division 1, it's going to add it to the corporate budget and Divisions 2, 3, and 4. Right? That's all the add budget does. Then we've got some getters: get division budget, get corporate budget. You can always tell you're going to have equal amount of getters with the number of variables you have. So we got 2 variables, so we've got 2 getters, and we've got a static member function. All right, up here is a static member variable that's going to be across all classes, and here's a static member function that's going to be across all objects. All right, that's all there is to the class. Now let's look at the member functions. And I've only got 2. Let's look at the bottom one first. All right, this is, read above it, and I left the notes on it. This is the definition of a static member function main office. This function adds the main office's budget request to the corporate budget variable. So you see this one, main office, receives a double, which is going to be money, and then just adds it to the corporate budget. So there's no real magic there. The one that's a little different is the definition of corporate budget static member is just budget : corp budget equals 0. It's a little bit different than we've seen before, but it's just a way to assign a value to start with for corporate budget. All right. Now let's go on to our actual source.cpp. All right, we're going to actually make an array of classes. So there's going to be some extra stuff here, but it's nothing you haven't seen before. Int count is just going to be for loops. Double main office request. That's what the main office is going to ask for in their budget. You're going to have the main office request, then you're going to have the request of 4 divisions. So there's going to be 5 different things feeding into this overall money. Constant int number of divisions equals 4. That's just for our for loop. We've got our count and our for loop. So we're ready to start asking for numbers. Okay, cout, enter main office's budget request. Okay, it's going to be a double. We're going to enter it here. Then main office request is sent to main office. And let's go back and see that. Now, remember, I'm going to make this $2 million. The main office is going to request $2 million. Let's go back and look at how this looks. All right, main office. So we're going to give it a double, $2 million. And then it's just going to add that to the corporate budget, which if it's first, the corporate budget's going to be 0. So the first $2 million is going to go to the corporate budget. All right, we're going to declare an array of 4 divisions. So we're going to make 4 objects. There's our for loop. We're going to start at 0 and go up to number of divisions, increment by 1. Okay, each time through, we've got a double that we're going to call budget amount. Then it's going to prompt, enter the budget request for division. Count's going to be 0 plus 1. So enter the budget request for division 1. You'll enter budget amount. Then this shouldn't surprise you. This is how you actually access this. Division 0 dot add budget, the amount. So we're going to enter I'm going to enter 2 million for each thing. Okay. So the first division is going to ask for 2 million. Then it's going to increment and the counter is going to go to 1. So basically for the second division, 2 for the third, and 3 for the fourth. And I'm going to enter $2 million for each. So at this point, we've entered 2 million for the main office and then 2 million each for the 4 divisions. Now we get down here, and we're just going to output our data. It's got the fixed show point, set precision. All right, we're going to loop through the 4 divisions again, division, and the output, we're just going to use the getters like we have in the past. So division 0, get division budget, division 2, division 3, division 4, right? And this is the part that's a little bit confusing, but then for an output for the total output of the 4 divisions plus the corporate office, we want to output the corporate budget, not the division budget, the corporate budget, which is all 4 divisions and the corporate office. To do that, all we have to do is use a getter to get the corporate budget. And I use for this one, well, actually the book did, use divisions 0, get corporate budget. Okay, it's a getter. Remember, this is a cumulative total. They're just using the divisions 0. This could be divisions 1, 2, 3, because it's a cumulative total. I'll run it to show you that too. See, division 0, get corporate budget. It's going to be the same as divisions 1, get corporate budget. Divisions 2, get corporate, because it's a rolling amount. So I'm going to run this just to show you. So the main, I said I was going to enter 2 million. Okay, 2 million for the main office. 2 million for division 1. And remember, now we're working inside that array. The array is made just for the divisions. The main office worked on a static member function outside of the array. So that's division 1, division 2, division 3, division 4. All right. So there's the division request, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And if you remember, it's not outputted here, but the main office budget request was 2 million also. So you've got 2 times 4 plus 2 is going to give you $10 million. This 10 million, remember, is the output of divisions 0 corporate budget. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to pick, remember, it's a 4-number array. I'm going to go to the last element, and I'm going to run this again. $2 million. Also 10 million. So any one of the array objects is going to have access to this get corporate budget, because the corporate budget itself is a static member variable. Okay, this is going to take a little bit of sinking in on this. I would probably suggest you go to the book and look this over too. Maybe even type this in and actually play with it a little bit. But the key takeaway from this is that you can actually have things inside of your header file that are outside of each object. Okay, one an overriding, I mean, not an overriding, but cumulative totals, cumulative arrays of names. It can be strings. It can work outside of your individual objects. Right? We're going to get some practice with this on Monday night. So don't stress too much if you don't get it right away. We'll have plenty of working time with it. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.